If you've been watching pro play recently, you'd know that Sentinels are finally back on their winning ways. They've won the most recent international tournament, and much of that can be traced back to Zekken and his phenomenal play on Raze. In fact, Zekken and his Raze are not just limiting their destruction to pro play. Even in ranked, he has reached rank 1 Radiant in 9 different acts, and recently getting it 5 times in a row. So let's take a look at what makes Zekken's Raze so special, and go over how he approaches Raze on different maps, as well as some general tips to level up your Raze gameplay. Now, quickly before the video, if you're currently below Radiant and would like to play against Zekken in your own ranked game soon, and you want to see results like this, my team of Radiant coaches and I can help you with our 10-week premium coaching program that offers a 500 RR rank up guarantee or your money back. That's right. If you don't see results with our coaching, you don't pay. We have over a dozen Radiant coaches with VCT experience on teams like Ascend, Immortals, Disguised, Gen G, Xset, and Giants. So to find out more and to see if we'd be a good fit, use the link in the description below to book a free strategy call. Hurry, because we just opened up 80 new spots for the next 10-week season. Now, without further ado, let's dive straight into what sets Zekken's Raze apart. Starting with what's perhaps most notable about his playstyle, his Raze on defense. Where many Raze players feel pressured into always taking fights or being hyper aggressive, the most defining thing about Zekken's gameplay is that he prefers to take a more strategic approach. Instead of hugging the barrier looking for the first enemy he can fight, Zekken can be found hanging in the back so that he's in a good position to impact the round, no matter what happens. That might sound a bit counterintuitive, but sometimes by being less aggressive, you can actually have more impact. At the start of any round, Zekken's priority is to be in a position where he can safely watch the map and instantly rotate to wherever the action is. In this round, for example, you might notice that Zekken has no teammates anchoring B. Despite this, Zekken still chooses to join his teammates over on B Heaven instead of going into site and taking up the anchor position. The reason for this is simple. By being in B Heaven, Zekken can still perfectly hold an enemy B push with his nade, but more importantly, he can also quickly run over to A if the round calls for it. As soon as the round starts, you can see Zekken switches his eyes over to the map, and within seconds, he starts to make his way over to the other bomb site. While purposely over-rotating like this might not be the best thing to do in pro play, it actually works really well in ranked, and it's something you'll see Zekken do all the time. Basically, instead of trying to get impact by scaring his opponents back into their spawn, Zekken prefers to be in the position of a fast rotator where he uses his duelist abilities to stop the enemy hit. That is not to say Zekken never does anything aggressive or even a bit crazy sometimes. He does, but when he does, it's usually well thought out and never when he's in a desperate position. In this round, for example, he ults into B main, which he knows is controlled by the enemy team. But he does it because the enemies have also popped a Raze ult, and they're threatening a hit, which would be really difficult for his enemies to stop. Similarly, when he goes aggressive at the start of the round and uses his blast packs, it's not in the way that you might think. Instead of speedrunning getting into a fight with his blast packs, he uses them as an escape tool to make sure he survives, almost like a jet dash.
I'm the best!
Of course, the most exciting part of duelists is their entry fragging on attack though, and that's also where Zekken does his best work. So let's take a look at that now. A good duelist is able to frag out, blast pack in, and get kills. But a great one, like Zekken, doesn't just do that, but is also a leader. I know it's not something Valorant players like to hear, so I'll give you the good news first. If you want to be a great duelist, you don't have to spend 8 hours every day training your aim. As for the bad news though, you do have to turn on your voice chat and try to work with your teammates, especially your initiators. If you watch Zekken, you'll notice that he constantly communicates with his team. Nothing complicated. He doesn't try to run VCT strats, but as an example, here, he just tells his team,
"Let's go mid."
It's only 3 words, but it works out because it's followed up by good mid-round calls. After they get a few kills and the enemy clove ults, he immediately calls to fall back and go for an A hit.
Wait, chill, come back. Just go spawn to A, trust, go spawn to A.
Then, after a teammate died there early and he also makes contact with a Cypher trip, he makes a good call again to rotate once more and head over to B where they're able to close out the round.
Just go back B.
Just a few rounds later, he does something similar. Here, he asks his clove for a smoke on rope, as well as a sky flash on male, so that he can ult in.
Smoke rope and flash and have it pop here. I'm gonna rock it.
It's very clear and simple, and it works really, really well. It's worth noting that after he gets his kill on male, Zekken doesn't go crazy and try to go for more. Once Zekken realizes his advantage, he holds onto it and doesn't let it go. He knows that in this position, the longer he stays alive, the more annoying he is. Because of his pushed up position, Zekken is a big question mark for the enemy team. They can't completely ignore him, so they can't really rotate away. The enemies are going to be scared that the moment they turn around, Zekken can be right behind them. So the enemy has no choice but to clear him out. Raze tries to do just that, and because Zekken is ready, he gets another kill. Now we see another crucial choice from Zekken. Instead of flanking all the way around or going into ropes, he goes for the safe route and joins up with his team via the sewer into main route. Again, he recognizes that he already has a man advantage. He could go for even more kills, sure, but if he wants to win the round, it makes more sense to play things smart. And actually, if we think back about the previous clip, we see really similar things there as well. The moment his team had the advantage fighting on mid, Zekken calls for his team to stop fighting and just capitalizes off the advantage that they already have. Then, once the enemy knows they're probably coming A, Zekken again doesn't force the issue and takes his time to rotate again. Even when he gets onto the site with his teammate, he relaxes and doesn't go for anything aggressive like a push into defender spawn. And that's exactly what makes Zekken so special. His mechanics are insane, he has amazing blast pack movement, and he knows how to use all of his abilities to perfection. But he doesn't like to force things. Instead of speedrunning his way into a gunfight every single round, he only takes fights under favorable terms. When he goes aggressive on attack, he does it with the help of utility from his teammates. And on defense, he uses his utility not to run deep into enemy spawn, but to react to the enemy's side hit and countering it. Zekken is extremely disciplined, but he's also confident. He'll usually win a fight even if the circumstances aren't perfect. But he doesn't get sloppy and relies solely on his mechanics to dunk on his enemies. Playstyle is one thing, but knowing how and when you should play Raze is also extremely important. That's why we'll go over all the different maps and give you some advice for each of them. Now, when it comes to maps where Raze excels, there are a few that stand out and a couple that aren't so great. Let's first get to the maps Zekken doesn't really play Raze on. He doesn't really play Raze on Icebox and most notably Breeze. The wide open spaces and long sightlines of Breeze makes Raze's utility feel almost useless at times. Because of all the open spaces, double blast packing isn't all that powerful. Her nade is easy to walk away from, and don't even get me started on her boombot. Breeze is definitely her worst map. Meanwhile, on Icebox, where Raze can be okay on attack with her blast packs to take sites, the long ranges on defense just make it tough for her to have the same impact as an agent like Jett who can take aggressive operator angles. For her stronger maps, first and foremost, we have Split. The tight corridors and close quarters combat of Split make it the perfect playground for Raze's explosive abilities. On defense, Zekken likes to play around A or especially B heaven, allowing him to quickly rotate between sites and rain down paint shells on unsuspecting enemies. On attack, he often uses his blast packs to send himself up to spots like A ramp or even straight into sites, which makes it tough for defenders to deal with his utility. Another map where Raze shines is Lotus. The tight corners and close range sites make Raze's utility incredibly effective here. Zekken often uses his paint shells aggressively on defense to take control of a rubble, which if you can control it, is a highly influential area that allows for more free rotations. Try fighting for it with some teammates the next time you're playing defense on Lotus. Now, Bind is another classic Raze map where Zekken also excels in. On defense, he often uses paint shells to stop rushes by nading A short or B garden. And on attack, he likes to blast pack towards lamps or onto B site from garden. But from personal experience, I should say pathing from hookah also works really well. Sunset is another map where Raze's close range prowess shines. Zekken often uses his paint shells to stop plants or counter rushes on defense. And on attack, Raze's util also works well to deal with pesky Cypher utility. Now for Ascent, Raze is a bit more of a mixed bag. Of course, Raze can be effective here, but the mid to long range parts of the map don't really make her a must pick. Zekken could probably make her work, but on Ascent he definitely prefers to play Jett both in ranked and in professional play. For some of the other maps that are currently not in the pool, they'd fit around here in the Raze map tier list. But do note that Riot likes to change maps a bit before re-adding them back to the pool, so things are subject to change. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.